Welcome to Box Wine Therapy, where the wine is cheap and the therapy's priceless.
We're two best friends, a couple of moms, and professional oversharers here to spill the wine and real life. I'm Kayla.
I'm Hannah.
Now let's get it started.
Welcome to Box Wine Therapy, everybody. Today, Kayla and I are bringing you one of my other best friends. I only have three, I swear. Uh, one of my other best friends, Angelica. We know that Breast Cancer Awareness Month is technically in October. However, with everybody's schedules, it didn't work out. So we wanted to bring you her story about finding out she had breast cancer at 33?
33.
At 33 years old, and kind of how that all went for her and where she is now today. And I will say it's a happy story.
Yes.
She
Yes.
is cancer free. So
Woo,
if
10
you're
years now.
Wow.
10 years.
Awesome.
Woo, woo. So if
Yeah.
you're somebody who feels like, I can't listen to down sad stuff, you don't have to worry about that
It's
because
good.
it's happy. Yeah, she's here. It's good. Okay. How did you initially find out that you had it? Did you have a lump? Did you have discoloration? What was kind of your signs or signals that something was wrong?
I actually found a lump. So I have lumpy breasts. You know, most women, when you do your breast exams, you do feel like, okay, sometimes they feel a little funky, depending on what time of month it is. But I had a lump when I was 17.
Oh.
So, and it was benign on the breast I didn't have cancer on. And so the doctor at the time, like, we got it removed, and the doctor's like, you need to do breast exams. And so fast forward, I'm 33. I felt something around the time of my period. And honestly, I was like, oh, it's just going to go away when my period goes away. It didn't. And I didn't have any pain. I had no discoloration. There was literally nothing other than I did a self exam.
Wow.
Was it like hard and if you moved, it would move in there? You know
Or
what
does
I
it
mean?
stay in place?
It felt like a pea. That's
That's
going to
it?
sound weird.
The size
It
of a
felt
pea?
like a
You're
pea.
kidding.
And it was actually
Like the
under
details.
my areola. And so I happened to feel it when I was in there. It was actually this breast, but I happened to feel it in there. I'm like, oh, it's a little. You don't normally feel pee,
And did it hurt? Because
No.
I feel like when my kids have just been a-holes and pushed on my nipple, I'm like, ow, that hurts.
No, and that was the crazy part. Like, there was literally no pain. The only reason why I was a little bit concerned, aside from the actual lump, was I started to lose a lot of weight.
Oh.
Like, I was always pretty thin. I mean, I'm, in my mid 40s now, so the weight tends to stay on a little more. But back then, I was really thin. We're talking like 115, 120
Oh, wow.
pounds, and I kept losing weight.
Oh.
And so I'm like, okay, I know there's something else going
How
on
fast
here.
were you losing?
Within a couple of months, I would say about 4 months, because it was right over the summertime,
Mhm.
I'd lost like 8 pounds,
Oh, wow.
which is
Without
significant.
trying.
When you're
Significant.
when you're already really thin, that's a lot.
And so I knew like something was off, but I was also like, ooh, look at how thin I'm looking. And then I looked one day and realized like I look sickly
Yeah.
almost. So I went to get checked. And I had been getting mammograms for years because,
Oh, yeah, because they started probably earlier on you then, huh?
exactly. And I had really small breasts. So I was like, I don't need to get it. People with little boobs, you don't have to worry about it. Well, thankfully, I happened to have my gyno appointment at that time, and I actually had her fill it for me. And it had already been like 2 months since I discovered the lump. And I could tell during the exam that she was like, hmm. And what's interesting is I normally just, check my breasts. I never really checked up into my armpit area. I'm like, why would you
Yeah.
check there? I guess when you have breast cancer, now I know this, it can spread into your lymph nodes. And she checked there and she found more lumps
Oh, I got chills.
there.
Wow.
So thankfully, I had the sense to get it checked out. Because I always say if it gets into your lymphatic system, a whole lot of more terrible things can happen. Thankfully, she was like, we need to get this checked. And then within less than a month, it was, you're going to get checked. You're going to go get a mammo. You're going to get an ultrasound. Then it was a biopsy. And then less than a week later, they're like, you are going to start treatment.
Wow.
So everything happened just kind of in a whirlwind.
What day did you actually technically find out, yes, for sure it's cancer? How does that go? Did you get a phone call? Were you sitting in the doctor's office? Tell us about that day and how you felt.
So it's a weird way to say this because I see in the movies that you're like, they call you in
Yeah.
and they tell you, I'm sorry, you have cancer. That is not how it
Really?
happened for me at all. I went in, like I said, to get my mammo, and I could tell the technician was looking a little more at my scans, and she's like, we're going to recommend an ultrasound. Do you have some time right now? to do an ultrasound. And immediately I was like, okay, this is probably not a good thing, but I'd rather just be safe and get it checked.
Yeah.
Mhm.
She put me on the table. She starts doing the ultrasound, and she's just staying in one spot. And I mean, you're just sitting there kind of helpless, like, no, I'm never going to get this. I'm 33 years old. There's
Yeah.
no way.
I'm being dramatic.
There's no way this
Yeah.
is going to happen. And she's like, I'll be back.
Oh no.
Ugh.
She brings a doctor in, and the doctor does the ultrasound again, and I could see it on their face. And they can't tell you
Mhm.
officially at
Even the
that
doctor?
moment,
Oh,
even
'cause
the
they don't
doctor,
technically know it could
because
be
they have
benign.
to verify. So they're like, can we schedule for a biopsy? Sure, tomorrow.
Oh.
And it happened to be like a women's center, so
Yeah.
they did everything there.
That's
And
nice.
she's like, I'll actually see if they have time right now.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And it was
Lord.
like 5 o'clock in the evening already. I'm terrified.
I was gonna say, did you start crying or were you kind of dumbfounded? Like,
No.
just like in shock?
I didn't cry, which was very strange. But at that time, I was like, tough.
Yeah.
And I was like, they just said, look, we don't have a technician here to do the biopsy. Can you come back tomorrow morning at like 7:30 in the morning? I'm like, sure. And so come back the next morning. They do the biopsy, and it's just a needle biopsy.
Mhm.
I go back to work because it's in the morning, and I'm like, it's
Mhm.
going to be fine. I'm literally sitting at my desk at work, and I get a phone call. And my office at the time was like a fishbowl, so it was just a giant wall of glass. And my doctor calls me, and she's like, just so you know, so this is a day. Probably I should probably say this is literally the next day.
Yeah.
She calls me and she's like, so you definitely have breast cancer.
Oh my gosh.
And I'm like, what? And she's like, you definitely have breast cancer. I'm guessing based on the size of the mass that we can see, it's stage 2, but it is in your lymph nodes. So we're going to recommend a course of action. She's like, I'm going to have you come in by end of week so we can start to figure out what the treatment plan is.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
And it's midday.
Wow.
And at the time, I was an executive assistant. So I had people constantly coming into my office, and I put the phone down. I walked into the bathroom. I went to a stall and I cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not like loud bawling, just more like, are you freaking kidding me? Like
Yeah.
literally, that was my reaction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think about it now, like it was like the worst day, the worst
Mhm.
news. But I couldn't allow myself to cry.
Right. You don't have time.
So I was like, nope, all right, I'm a planner. We're going to figure this out. We're going to create a plan. We're going to go through the process. But honestly, I didn't want to tell anybody.
Oh yeah.
Because a
At
friend
work
of
or
mine,
just like friends.
well,
family?
anybody, because I mean, I was kind of the strong one in the family, right? I'm like, I was single at the time.
Mm.
I was in the middle of my MBA program. I was at the very end of my MBA program. I just ended a relationship long term. Like my life was starting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine came in. So she had had breast cancer a year before me at 33.
Wow.
What?
She happened to come in and she sat down, and I was like, I just got a call from the doctor. And she's like, okay. And I was like, I just found out I have breast cancer. And she just started tearing up. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And she just got up and hugged me.
Aw.
And it gives me chills now when I think about it.
I got chills, but she's got pregnancy hormones.
Yeah. But it was, and I mean, I get teary eyed when I think about it because I had seen what she had gone through.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not ready for this.
Yeah.
I'm 33 years old. Like, you're not supposed to get breast cancer at
Yeah, you're in your
33. I
prime.
mean, what? I wasn't a smoker. I wasn't super unhealthy. I wasn't like,
You weren't
there was
overweight.
no,
you weren't,
no.
like-
I mean, if anything, I was underweight at that time. Like,
Yeah.
there was no reason whatsoever.
Does it run in your family?
Well, I come from a Hispanic family, so like my extended family members had it, but nobody
No
in my
immediates.
immediate family.
Wow.
No, I'm talking like great aunts or great cousins, their cousins, that kind
Wow.
of thing. And it wasn't just breast cancer; it was they had cancer.
Right.
But I lived in the part of California where there's a lot of ag, so pesticides and things like that. So it was,
Oh,
I want to say,
sorry.
common.
It's like waterworks.
It's okay. It's the hormones. It's
It's the baby.
yeah, it's
the
the baby.
baby's crying.
Yeah,
The baby's crying.
he she.
Yeah.
But having that friend hug me. I mean, she's the only person who would know exactly
What you're
what I was
feeling at that
about to
moment.
Yeah, no kidding. And hers was all
Um,
in remission at that time?
she was at the tail end. She had just finished
Oh, wow.
treatment. She had been like kind of in and out of the hospital, and it's really her story to tell, but she was super courageous during her own journey, and she was married. She had little kids, like
Wow.
completely different. And the type that I got diagnosed with was stage 2, but it was estrogen positive.
And what does
Um,
that mean for
and,
those of us who don't know?
and so there's different types of receptors in your cell, and the cancer cells would sometimes adhere to specific types of
Mm.
cells. And so in my case, it would adhere to the estrogen cells in my body.
Oh.
And I mean, like most women, I'd been on birth control since I was like 13, 14 years old. And so there's really no scientific evidence, but they do say, like,
Yeah.
if you've been on estrogen, any type of estrogen for hormones for a really long time, you're at an increased risk.
Yeah.
And so I had the estrogen positive. She had a much more severe version of it, which is when they say triple negative. And
Yeah.
so they are resistant, like the medicines and things
Oh.
that are, you can basically utilize to
Yeah.
help treat you, you are resistant by default based on the types of receptors in your body. So she definitely had a harder time in terms of how flexible her treatment could be. Whereas because I was estrogen positive, they have specific types of chemos that like are designed to target that. But now for the rest of my life, like I can't have hormones. I can't use if I when I go through the change, like I can't do hormone therapy treatment. So there's a lot of lifetime impacts
Wow.
of that. And this is stuff I mean, why would I know that, before?
And you
Yeah.
didn't get a hysterectomy. However,
No.
you can't have babies because of the radiation or the chemo or both.
A combination of both. So
Okay.
I've had autoimmune issues my whole life, and so I had Crohn's disease when I was a teenager. Actually, I went into remission by the time I was in my 30s. But during that time, you're on medicine for so long that it's actually dangerous, right,
Okay.
to get pregnant while you're on some of the
Yeah.
medicine. And so I had been checked quite a few times in terms of like, would I be able to have children? And at the time, I didn't know whether I could or not,
Mm-hmm.
because they would say it's probably going to be harder for you. You can't have an accidental, like you have to be intentional about planning. And after a whole series of doctor's appointments, they're like, you are going to have a hard time
Yeah.
having children. Not that you won't ever, you're just going to have a hard time
Before cancer.
before cancer.
Yeah.
I mean, I was 33, I was single. I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to have any now. And once I had my chemo treatment, it ended all possibilities
Oh,
Wow.
really?
of it. Now they do give options for people now, because this is several years ago. You could harvest your eggs, and you
Mm.
could. At the time, I just didn't want to die.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was my priority.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But as a result of that now, like I did try to go after all my treatments and everything. I did go to a specialist just to kind of get a sense of, can you check my ovaries? Can you make sure
Yeah.
they're okay? And I've had cysts on my ovaries for years. Not PCOS or anything like that, just on and off. Um, they checked my follicles, and he was like, I could sit here and tell you that I can make magic happen for you. He's like, but your eggs are like the eggs of like a 7-year-old woman.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. And
They cooked them.
And he's like, your follicles are so damaged. I had like one healthy follicle and like two on the other.
Wow.
And the crazy part is that day, again, quietly dealing with it, I went and sat in my car in front of the clinic that I was at, crying. One of my best friends calls me,
Oh.
and she's like, "Hey, I have to share some news.
Oh,
Oh.
no.
I'm pregnant."
Just as you got yours.
And I was just
I was so happy
bawling.
for you.
And it is literally how it went. She's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "I just went to the doctor, And so I'm telling her, and she's like, "I'm like, but I'm so happy for you." So
Oh my
it was
gosh.
such
Oh.
like an emotional roller coaster. But I mean, honestly, that whole year was an emotional roller coaster. So I was like, "What's one more thing that?" And I'm so good. She was just so supportive. But at the time, it was like that decision has been stripped
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have a
from
choice.
me.
Yeah.
Even if I never picture myself as like being a mom or like carrying children,
Yeah.
right? I picture myself as a grandma, but not so much as
Aw,
like as a
cute.
mom. But that was just that broke my heart more than the
Mhm.
than the cancer diagnosis. So I'm like, I'm never gonna be a mom in that way.
And it wasn't your choice.
Yeah.
You didn't get a say.
Exactly. And that's the worst part of it, you know.
Yeah.
You want it more when you can't have it.
For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
It's exactly how it went.
Ugh.
Um, but yeah, no, it was quite the adventure. I mean, and it's fine. Like I'm not sad about it anymore. The no children. It's just this is how it's supposed to be. So
And now you're a stepmom.
I am a stepmom. I'm not gonna be a grandma anytime soon, though. Let's
You're
just make that very clear.
You're telling girls.
How old are they?
21 and 22.
Well, you too.
So, oh no.
No. We need to wait.
No. Not till they're 30. Both of them. But yeah, that's kind of the two major areas where it's the holy crap moments.
I never
you
would
know?
have thought breast cancer would have affected fertility like that.
Mhm.
So, and it was from treatment then?
It was from treatment.
So what was the treatment plan? Like when they
Um,
said, okay, come in at the end of the week, what they lay out for you?
So they actually sit you in a room with like specialists. So I had an oncologist who was really well known in the area. There was a breast surgeon who specialized in that, and then they had like a care specialist,
Like
who
everybody
kind
at once, like sitting
at
around a
one
table.
table.
Wow.
Mhm.
Okay.
Wow.
which is because they're all part of the same women's network that I
okay.
would go to, which is honestly, if you ever have this experience, I hope nobody does, but having that connection already was really helpful.
Yeah.
And they just walk you through the plan. And it was literally, so this was in July of 2014.
Mhm.
They sat down and they're like, we'll start chemo next week. You're going to come for a total of 20 weeks.
Wow.
And how long is chemo? Like, what do you tell your work?
Well, that's a whole nother FMLA.
Okay, yeah,
Like, it's a whole nother process.
Because you're
but-
sick, so then you're not going to be going into work. Like,
And I had
right.
what do you tell your job?
Yeah, it was crazy. And I'll definitely share that. But basically what they say is there's over a course of 20 weeks, you'll do treatment. The first few weeks, depending on the type of treatment you have, you go every other week because it's really aggressive what they start with.
Mm.
And then all the consecutive treatments after that are weekly.
Okay.
Then you get just well enough, at least in my case, so I had to do a mastectomy. Which I was not happy about, obviously, because they had to remove the entire breast. So they talked about how that process was going to be.
Did they want you to remove the second?
No, because I did the hereditary testing
Okay.
to see if I had BRCA1, BRCA2, and I didn't. And so if I had, they would have suggested it, but I
Oh,
didn't.
okay.
So I wasn't at any higher risk than anyone else.
Okay.
Then they talk about after you do that, you get well enough, then you start radiation, and you go to radiation every day
What?
for 5 weeks.
Wow.
And it basically just
That's
burns
intense.
you,
Oh,
right?
it just burns you. And it's because of where it was, and it was in lymph nodes, it was literally like a sheet of paper of radiation.
Like, and she gets so sunburnt on that side and on that breast.
Oh.
My favorite fun fact about her boobies is that because of the implant and the radiation and everything, it's what do you call it? Radiant.
I pick up ambient temperature.
Ambient. So if it's cold outside, she has one freezing cold boob and one body temp boob. And she told me this when we were camping one day, and I was like, really? And I just reached over and she goes, did I give you permission to touch my boob? I was like, we're best friends. Shut
Yeah.
up. I was like, I just need to feel. And I was like, wow, one's cold and one's hot.
Yeah.
She's like, okay, you can take your hand off my chest now.
And
yeah,
by the way,
super
she
cool.
did do that in my car as well.
Yeah.
At a stoplight.
With people around.
She just reached over, and the guy in the truck next to us was like,
No shame.
Not at all. Not at all. No, I mean, you get desensitized to it after a while. I've had so many techs and doctors, and everybody just
Yeah.
look, I'm just,
Yeah.
letting them out there now. But yeah, and then after all that, you do the reconstruction process, which is really fascinating too. But they basically put this like piece of Tupperware in your breast. That's what it feels like.
The spacer.
Yeah, it's the
Oh,
tissue
'cause I was like,
expander.
it's not like
Expander,
a
that's what it is.
silicone.
It's a tissue expander.
Oh, okay.
And every week you go and they stick this needle with saline that's about this big. You can't feel anything. So honestly, it's
Because you have no
completely,
nerves
there's
there?
no nerves
Oh,
there
okay.
at the
Oh.
time. And if you want, I could talk about how they do it. But
Yep,
they
I wanna know.
We want to know it all.
I'm like, where do I start?
The
Where do
down
I
and dirty of
start?
it.
So when they do the surgery, there's all kinds of different techniques for the surgery. Luckily, I had enough skin to cover it. So they did. I mean, but they did have to remove my nipple because the
Oh,
cancer
okay. I was
was.
wondering.
Yeah, the cancer was actually in the milk duct at that
Oh,
point.
wow.
Oh,
Yeah, which I didn't know was a thing, but it's a thing, which is why some people they'll have like I had like a fluid coming
Oh,
out
okay.
or
I was
this
a discharge or whatever.
yeah,
you
like
call
a discoloration
okay.
or I looked like I had a giant bruise.
Mm.
People those are the types of symptoms. I didn't have any of that.
it.
That's what I
Wow.
was gonna say. I feel like you said you didn't have any.
It was very strange. That's why I
Yeah.
was so surprised when they're like, "You have cancer." I'm
Did you
like,
ever have crusties?
"No,
Okay, because like even after
no."
having babies, like sometimes I will still have like milk crusties here or there,
Hmm.
or like after a hot shower, like if I turn or something and it squeezes, I notice like a drop, and I'm like, dang, I'm still milkable. Like, look at that.
I feel like I even had that before having kids. Like every now and then, just like a
Yeah,
little bit.
a crusty.
Maybe it was just like what's it, like a fuzzy?
Yeah, there's the fuzzy. I just keep rubbing my boobs.
Yeah.
If any men are watching this, my husband's gonna be like, "Babe, why'd you get a spike in male followers?" Because I just kept touching boobies the whole time.
Hey, we just shared that you touched my boobs, and I was totally okay with
Well,
it. So
I also made her show me her boob. The second time we ever hung out, I invited her to go to this girl's birthday party with me. So
Yeah.
when I moved to Austin, I knew nobody. We met 6 days into my living there at a girls' night thing of this group we joined to make friends, and we hit it off right away. And so then a few nights later, I was like, "Hey, you want to go to this girl's birthday with me? Let's go." Neither one of us know anybody. We hit it off. Like, I think
Yeah.
we'll be friends. And she was like, "Yeah." Well, we get home that night after drinking and whiskey shots, and she was telling me about her breast cancer, and I was like, "Wow." And she's like, "Yeah, I actually have no nipple there." So, and I was like, "I got this. Can you show me?" And she was like, "What? Why would I show you?" I was like, "I don't know. My mom's a nurse. I grew up a body's a body's a body. Can I just see it?" And I was like, "We all have nipples." And she's like, "I don't know." And I was like, "Come on, just show me." And she's like, "Okay. Wow, I must really like you. I've literally never showed just another girl my nipple before like this, or lack thereof." She's like, "But it looks like a kiss mark.
It looks like a little smirk.
Lips. Yeah, like
Oh
a
yeah,
smirk."
Like a smirk.
So I got her to show me her boob.
Yes.
Second time we hung out. And after that, I was like, "Well,
And I'm
friends with
still
me now."
friends with her, so I don't know how this is possible.
And
but-
when I asked her if she'd do this podcast, I was like, "If you want to show your titty, feel free." She said, "Boundaries, Hannah. I am not
Hard
showing it."
pass.
So when they remove your breast, does it basically go like all flat then?
It does.
Wow. So that's why they had to do the expander.
So you have a choice though. Like a lot of people just they're very empowered by their journey. So they don't even decide to do reconstruction.
Mm.
Because sometimes reconstruction isn't covered as part of the insurance.
Oh,
Um
it
Sorry.
should be.
So it's like lobbed off.
yeah.
They don't leave your skin and just scrape out like a pumpkin.
No.
They lop it off and then they.
and
so
then sew the skin shut.
so in this case, you in my case, like you keep the skin. So the cancer is in your breast tissue.
Okay.
And
Okay.
so they have to remove the breast tissue.
Wow.
And so think about it.
So like a pumpkin,
Yes, you're basically
but they had to cut off your areola.
it's more like avocado. You are
Okay.
literally taking all the insides
Okay.
out of the avocado.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can decide what you want to do. And in my case, right, so they went up to the lymph nodes. So there's, lymphatic drainage things and all that. But when I found out they were going to chop this off, I mentioned earlier I had small breast. I was like, well, am I going to have boobs?
Oh,
Right.
I get it. Okay.
And so they're like, well, we can if you want to do reconstruction. I'm like, I'm 33 years
So
old.
I was like,
Heck
why'd you have to
yes.
get an expander if you already had breast tissue? But
I
you
didn't
already had
have
the
any.
skin, but you were
Yeah.
already a small breasted person, and then
Yes.
Okay,
And
okay.
and depending on like how much elasticity is in your skin, sometimes they can't actually do it. They'll take like a basically a patch of skin, like a triangle patch of skin from either your butt cheeks or your back, actually like near your deltoids to graft it on.
Wow.
In my case, I didn't need any of that, but they did. They do this Eloderm. It's like a synthetic tissue, so they basically reconstruct simulated tissue, pull the skin, try and connect whatever nerves they can connect. And again, this is not doctor speak here, right? So doctors listening, I know there's scientific stuff that happens there. And then they implant a tissue expander, which feels like a piece of Tupperware. It's like a very hard balloon, and
I've heard they're very uncomfortable.
they literally it's just Tupperware under your skin, and they inflate it. So when I woke up from my surgery, I had maybe an A cup of skin. And then every week you go, and that's what I was saying, the long needle that they inject with saline, and it's just to slowly stretch the skin
So you don't get stretch
so it
marks and
becomes
stuff.
acclimated. Now the bonus is I was like, well, I mean, if you're gonna go and give me surgery, hook a sister up,
Right,
and
that sounds
like,
like
can
you
I
do
can
both?
I get? And they're like, well, what size breast do you want? I was like, well, what size would work? They're like, well, based on your frame, maybe like a large C. And I'm
Yeah.
like, so you actually got
I'm
to
like,
like try
yeah.
on before my surgery. I got to try on like these, like as if I was going to get a boob job, which I did.
Yeah.
So this side is my breast.
They didn't have to expand that one.
No, because it was my regular boob with an implant.
Cool. Oh, yeah. Okay.
And then so I walked around with a very large breast, fresh breast, nice and perky on one side. And then this one was still in a cup.
Oh, wow.
And it
Oh,
took,
so they did this one first.
they did them, they gave me an implant and did the tissue expander at the same time. So this is me with some extra help. And then this is 100% an implant.
Okay.
And so they
Will
were
you show
just,
us?
I'll get right on that. This went to an what is it, OnlyFans immediately.
Yeah. We have
We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
there.
But yeah, they basically just inject with saline until it gets to the same size as the other side, so they look even. And then you go in for a quick surgery, and they take the expander out and just put the implant in.
Oh, so with no nipple there anymore,
Mhm.
but you said they still try to connect some nerves. Does it feel like where your nipple should be, like if you're touching right here? Or does it feel more sensitive still?
So I have filling now, not on the entire breast, but it's taken 10 years for me to have filling.
For
So
the
it was
nerves to connect.
literally completely desensitized. There was no filling
couldn't tell.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
No, which is actually pretty dangerous because you could get burned or cut or hit
Oh, yeah.
straight, and you literally have
No
no
idea.
awareness,
And if it gets infected,
which
you
is
don't know.
a
Wow.
very strange thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, now I can't feel everything, but I now have feeling like from most of the breast. The other place that surprised me is because they took lymph nodes, I actually couldn't feel anything here
Oh.
because they took 10 lymph nodes from here. So
Wow.
this was completely numb up until just a few years ago. So now I can lightly feel, but I don't have full feeling and sensation.
Weird.
But I'm alive, and you know,
Yeah,
if
who
I
cares if you
I
can
mean,
feel
they
your
look
arm?
great.
Yeah.
So yeah, now they're there. They're different kinds. They silicone is better for these types of surgeries because they're more durable. Saline for the others. So they give you lots of
So
recommendations.
you have two different ones?
I have two different ones.
Oh, wow.
Two different sizes. Yeah, it's
What do
Does this
you
one has to be
prefer
bigger?
as like the user?
the
What do you
user.
like?
The saline feels better because it's softer and it feels more like a regular boob. The other one has to be strong and sturdy because it's held in place by just whatever skin I've got going on there, whatever synthetic
Wow, I
tissue.
didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Whenever we're done filling it, I now want to.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I knew
Not
that it was
suitable
two
for TV.
separate different ones. So now I want to.
They feel very
Okay.
different. They
Okay.
feel very different. Wow, you guys are learning so much about
Which
me.
boob is your husband's favorite?
He jokes and says it feels like being with two different women.
Turn off the lights. He's like, oh, Angie. Oh, Angelica.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's two very different experiences
Cool.
here. But even random things like I had no muscle control over that side for a really long time, so like I couldn't move it. Now I have muscle control. I can work out. I get all this stuff, but like I can't do a push up still.
And I remember
Oh.
working out with you at F45, and she would have to tell them, she'd be like, hey, I actually had breast cancer and had a bunch of stuff removed. And so
Yeah.
I can't do both. I can't do heavy weights because this arm won't lift anything.
Oh,
Yeah.
And so they always had to modify for her
Mhm.
on that and give her like smaller weights for it.
And it's gotten stronger. I mean, it's taking me this long. Not that
That's
I work out a
crazy.
lot, right? But but
still.
now I can actually do things I couldn't do 4 or 5 years ago even. It's just like anything else. With muscles, you work them out over time, you get more consistent. But yeah, it is two very different experiences.
Yeah.
And thankfully it's healthy. I'll have them for, until it's time to change them out. They say 10 years, but honestly now you can
I was going to
you
say,
can go
now
longer.
I heard
You go longer.
an episode with Terry Dubrow on Caitlin Bristow's podcast, and he was saying, he goes, I know they, it always was like 10, 15 years. That's all you get tops. But
Mhm.
he's like, no, nowadays implants are so good.
Mhm.
Some people have them their whole life. As long as there's no
Yeah.
issues, we don't see an issue to
Mhm.
recut into you and do it.
Mhm.
So he's like, obviously, if you get a rip, you get a whatever, you notice
the
it
rippling.
changing or the
Yeah.
rippling, then it's time to change. But he's like, most are made so well that you aren't honestly going to need it.
And I forget that they're not mine. I mean,
Oh,
they are mine now,
yeah.
right? But they don't. I don't know. My mind doesn't like, oh, I've got fake boobs. No, you have a hybrid, and and the other one's not natural, and it's fine. And I still do everything.
You have a Prius and a Tesla.
Something like that. But yeah, no, I mean, I'm just grateful that everything turned out okay. And
Yeah.
they're healthy, and I mean, it sucked. I'm not gonna
Mm.
I'm not gonna deny. I get checked every 6 months.
Still?
Still.
Is that will be for your lifetime?
So they say technically after 10 years, your risk of reoccurrence is the same as like everyone else, statistically speaking. But I have been on medication for the last 10 years to prevent any susceptibility for the estrogen to like increase my likelihood of it.
Like an estrogen blocker?
It's sort of like an estrogen blocker. But it's basically to prevent the cancer cells from attaching to the estrogen in my body that can then, potentially increase my risk for breast cancer again. That actually just stopped this summer.
Wow.
Because after about 10 years, you get risk of osteoporosis and all these other things. And so it's just like it's safer. And my checks have been good, knock on wood. So every 6 months, I alternate between my mammo and then a chest x-ray. It's just to make sure nothing else is weird is going on. I've had 2 times where they've pulled me in and said we need to do an ultrasound.
Ugh.
And those are terrifying.
I
Yeah.
remember when I lived in Hutto and you'd gotten a call that you had to do one of those. And she's like, I'm letting you know this, that I have a check. They have to do an ultrasound. And I started crying, talking to you in my car. And you were like, why are you crying? I was like, because you can't have cancer. You've already had cancer.
Yeah.
She's like, so then she also had a brain tumor that was a benign, thank God, that she had to get taken care of last year. So when she called me to tell me about that, she's like, are you driving? And I said, yeah. She goes, I have to tell you something. And don't be mad because I haven't told you yet. I've been waiting to tell you. But it'll come up this weekend when I'm there. And I don't want you to think I didn't tell you. She's like, don't freak out. I have a tumor. It's benign. And I was like, what? She's like, in my brain. I was like, you have a brain tumor.
Yeah.
She's like, I told you not to freak out. I was like, okay, this is good. She's like, I'm giving you a day to sit on it before I show up. So you can calm down.
Yes.
I was like, okay.
And you were good. You didn't cry the next day.
No,
So
it wasn't my period. It's the difference.
yeah, that was a fluke too. Honestly, the running joke in the family is like bad blood. It's just bad blood, I mean, what can you do? It's just one more of those blips, and you're like, all right, well, what do we do about it? What's the kind of treatment? How quickly can I get it out? And that one, I'm not going to undermine. Yes, there was a tumor. Yes, it was fast growing. The good news is, got it early. Where they had to do surgery to take it out was, I mean, I don't want to say it was non-invasive. They did have to cut my skull open and
shave it out.
But it's not like it was like near my pituitary gland or someplace where it was really complicated. It was a relatively easy surgery. I mean, I went home.
They said it was common.
Yes.
Like 1 in how many people had these brain tumors?
Honestly, I don't even remember the stat anymore.
Yeah.
This is the downside also of chemo because my brain never got sharp again.
She gets chemo brain.
And it's been 10 years and I still can't remember shit. So it's like, but this one was, it's called a meningioma. It's actually common with people who have exposure to radiation, but they don't have like a direct correlation. They just say, we've noticed that people who get these have also had exposure.
Yeah.
And I know some gals who have had breast cancer who have also developed brain tumors.
Wow. So how did you have symptoms? How did you find that out?
I started getting really bad headaches and like lightheadedness. I kept feeling like I was going to pass out.
Oh.
And you had mood changes.
Yeah, yes, but that was probably honestly more hormones.
Oh, I thought they said that was part of it too.
The early 40s are really fun.
Wait.
They're really fun. But for that one, I'm not a person who normally gets headaches. So that was, I think, the weirdest part. I was like, why do I keep getting these like severe headaches? And I keep feeling like I'm going to pass out. And I'm just sitting here. Like there's no reason.
Weird.
long story short, they did a scan. They found it. They, within a couple months, I got it taken out. I was in the hospital for 2 days.
Yeah.
The recovery was the longest.
Yep.
It took like 6 weeks for me to get back to normal.
Oh, wow.
They're on steroids and anti-seizure medicines, and it's just scary. They're cutting into your brain. Like, that's
Yeah.
a little delicate space there. But I figured I've been through this, so
Speaking of your brain tumor and hair and all of that, when you went through chemo and radiation, did you lose hair at all?
I lost it all.
All of it?
All of it.
Did you end up, as you were losing it, like go ahead and just shave it off?
I did. That was really emotional
Really?
too.
Yeah.
I had long hair like this back then, and I went to see my hairdresser, and I had already started treatment, and I knew within a couple weeks it was all going to be gone.
That fast?
Mhm. And so I was like, "Can you cut my hair for me?" And he's like, "Sure." I'm like, "I haven't told anybody because I didn't tell anybody,
Oh, wow.
by the way, that it took me like several weeks before. Yeah.
So your boss didn't even know?
No. I only told like 2 people
Wow.
because I wasn't ready
Yeah.
to tell them.
Well, everything was so fast moving for you.
Yeah,
as it
and
was.
more of I didn't want to tell them until I had a plan,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and there was a lot of unknowns at the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah.
And otherwise, people keep questioning you about
Yes,
stuff.
and then I have to relive it, and
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for it. But yeah, I went to my hairdresser, and I was like, you can't tell anybody this, but I have breast cancer. I just started chemo. He started crying because he's been my hair guy
Oh.
for a really long time. And I was like, I need you to give me a pixie cut because it's all going to be gone
Yeah.
like in about 2 weeks. And he just cried, and I was like, it's
Wow.
okay. Like, he's like, I'm so sorry. I was like, I need you to help me through this. So
Yeah.
he cut it short. I had it short for a couple days. And then, so my best friend from high school, we've been friends now for 30, like you guys, we've been friends now for like 30 years. I was like, I need you to shave my head for me.
Aw.
And she was like, okay. So I went to my friend Monique's.
Yeah.
She knows Monique. I was like, Monique, do you have any uh buzzer stuff? And she's like, yeah. I was like, can I borrow it or something? She's like, sure. I didn't give any.
You still had it
Tell
told?
her?
My goodness.
Wow.
I'd be pissed at you if you told that.
Oh, people were very angry, but
I get that it's your decision, but I'm still going to be pissed at you.
I
Mhm.
went and
Wow.
yeah. So in my defense, as I back it up, it happened so fast that like I wasn't ready. I did have to tell a family member because you have to go in to get your report.
Mhm.
I did not know that my second cousin was the nurse at the place, like that outpatient surgical center. He saw my name on the board. He came into the waiting room and he was like, and they call me Jelly. He's like, Jelly? And I was like, yeah, like not expecting to see him there. He's like, you haven't told the family? I was like, mm-mm. He's like, you should really tell your grandma. And I was like, I'm not ready to tell my grandma yet. He's like, I'm going to be your nurse for this one. I just swapped. I saw your name. He's like, I'm really sorry. And so he was there. He helped me. He was there when I got my port put in,
Wow.
and he just gave me a big hug. And I was like, don't say anything yet. Like I'll tell them this weekend. I'll tell them this weekend, you know. So it was, and I mean, in retrospect, I probably should have leaned on them a little bit. A little bit. I know, Hannah. I'm seeing the
Probably.
glare.
I'm just sitting here like,
I'm like, I
Um,
would have had you, my grandma, everybody.
I
at
can't
the
not
first
tell
meeting.
everybody everything.
Yeah.
Like, I'm an open book, and especially if it's something big and hard and scary I'm going through,
Yeah.
like, I have to lean on my people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, honestly, that like as soon as I shaved my head, I realized like, okay, I need to tell. And then I started telling my friends. And that weekend, I told my family.
Yeah.
I had to go get a wig.
I was
Oh,
gonna say,
that's
were you
so
wearing a wig, or
fast,
did
yeah.
you just show up and they're like, "Hey, Brittany, are you okay?"
No,
I
no,
like,
just went through something.
I had
Yeah.
to get a wig. So then I got some girlfriends that came. We tried on wigs, and I had to get something that I could wear like immediately.
Yeah.
So they helped me through that process. And then I wanted to spend some money on a nicer wig, so it took a little bit longer or whatever. That was kind of fun, actually. I mean,
Yeah.
despite everything, I almost pulled a Samantha from, I was like,
Yeah.
I got the pink,
Yeah.
but I was working, so I can have pink hair for
Yeah.
work.
Was there a lot of hope from your doctors, being it's only stage 2, and so you knew you had a? I mean, obviously, there's still always a possibility you could pass away, but
Mhm.
you had a pretty good understanding that you were just going to go through some hard shit and be done, or were you still scared of it?
No, they were pretty optimistic.
Okay.
One, because I was young, I was relatively healthy. I didn't have any other, I mean, sure I had the Crohn's disease, but I was in remission at that point. So
Mhm.
there wasn't any major like health issues.
Yeah.
For them, it was, this isn't just a you get treatment and then you're done. It was more around you need to do more work with your support system.
Mm.
You need to ask for help. And I was
Mhm.
like, no, sir, we are not going to ask for help. And they're like, you cannot do this by yourself.
Yeah.
And so that was probably the thing I could tell they were the most worried about. Not so much
Yeah.
the surgeon. I mean, they're specialists. They know about the treatment plans and all that. But they're like, you need to rely on whatever resources that will best help you navigate this. And so, yeah, honestly, that was the hardest part for me. Sure, it sucked. The chemo was awful, and I don't wish anybody to have to go through it. But not being able to do stuff like eat food or sleep or at post surgery, get out of bed,
Oh.
Who helped you the most
bathing.
during that time?
It was all my friends. My family helped a little bit, where they could, like they bring me food and that kind of thing. But I had somebody with me at chemo every single treatment
Wow.
without fail. They all just, and I'm so grateful for it because then after that I was like, oh, they love me, kind
Yeah,
of thing.
duh.
But everybody took me there, brought me home. Post surgery, my middle brother stayed with me. He basically moved in with me, and because I couldn't actually move. It's a very invasive
Oh,
surgery for
wow.
the mastectomy. My cousin, who's a nurse, came over and like helped me bathe, especially like the first couple days right after the surgery, and then after that, you have to move around. So it just people came over and helped. It was I don't know. It was a big change for me mentally because it was always me.
Yeah.
And then I had to rely on everybody else.
Yeah.
But I'm
Well,
grateful for it now.
how long was that time period of really needing help from other people?
Several months. This surgery is no joke. Anybody who's been through, and I only had to have one side done, you literally can't get yourself out of
I mean,
bed.
all your
Wow.
muscles, everything. Yeah.
It hurts to breathe.
Mm.
So it took a while.
Wow.
It took a while. Actually, I couldn't drive. So I used to drive stick.
Oh my gosh.
I had to get in a car that was
Wow.
automatic because I did not, even though surgery was on this side, remember I had a basically boob job on the other. I didn't have enough strength to hold the steering wheel and shift my
Oh
car.
wow.
So I had to get an automatic. I mean, it literally had to change my life. And even during treatment, like the chemo, so I did treatments on Thursday. The worst days are like 2 days later.
Mm.
I would go to treatment in the morning. I'd come home. I'd work from home in the afternoon. I'd work from home on Fridays, be sicker than a dog Saturday, and then go back to work on Mondays.
Wow.
So how did work out with all of that? Because you mentioned like
Yeah.
FMLA and stuff.
People didn't know
That's wild.
that I had cancer or that I was
'Cause
going
you
through
wore a wig?
treatment. I wore a wig. And it was kind of hard not to notice since I would go with long hair one day and short hair the next.
But they're not going to ask,
They-
you know?
They honestly had no idea.
They probably thought, oh, maybe she's just always had a wig and just
Yeah.
decided to get a couple new ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't until like people started realizing like, okay, she's really skinny. She doesn't look as healthy, because you turn like this ashy gray color. So makeup and, sometimes my eyebrows would be crooked. You don't have eyelashes anymore.
You don't have eyebrows
You
even.
literally have
eyelashes.
no hair on your body.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I saved a lot of hair, hair products and during that time, but
Waxing and laser.
it wasn't until my actual like surgery. So again, this is already like 5 months later.
Wow.
That people knew because then I had to be out. There was no option. And work was really respectful, responsible. Like a lot of my friends were from, like I met them through work and they're now lifelong friends. They would ask for time off to go to chemo with me.
Oh.
And their managers would be like, just go, like
Oh,
you just go.
nice.
So it was really a good support system at the time. Until obviously then my FMLA, and I was like, oh man, this sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I had to wear a pixie cut for a long time after that, which was weird for me, but it was very empowering too.
When
Yeah.
did your hair grow back? Like your eyebrows and lashes and all that too?
Well, so I finished my last chemo a week before Christmas, and then it grew back like peach fuzz, like maybe a month or two later.
No.
Oh, okay.
But nobody knew because I was wearing wigs the whole
Yeah.
time. And it grew back literally like baby fine hair and gray.
Oh.
It grew back gray, and then that kind of like fell out, and then my regular hair came back, and it came back curly.
Wow.
And it was
So
straight before?
it was straw straight before.
Wow. I can't picture you with like straight hair.
I couldn't even hold like with a curling iron and hairspray.
Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy? They say when you go through chemo, it's like if you had straight hair, it'll come back curly. If you had curly hair, it'll come back straight. If you have light, it can come back dark. Like it just goes totally different.
Then I have this. Isn't
Wow.
that crazy?
That is.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm digging it now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's very you.
And it's probably easier because
Oh,
you
it's
just
way
put a little
easier.
product in and
Well, I don't have to comb it.
yeah.
Uh,
What was it like, like getting back into the dating world after going through something like that? Because that's a big deal.
It's really weird.
And then it's
Um,
like you have these new things that you're
you're like,
getting
"Do I
used to this
tell 'em?"
new body, this new version of you.
Yeah. Well, I was single. I had gotten out of a
Yeah.
really long relationship at that time, and it was at the tail end of grad school. So I'm like, okay, I'm finishing my program. I'll be out. When you want to, have some fun time, I didn't want to make a big deal about it.
Yeah.
But I also didn't want them to be like, holy crap, she doesn't have a nipple. Like, what is going on? Right? Like, so
I know
there
I'm
was
drunk,
this, like,
but I'm not that drunk.
That's right. And so I had this like spiel I would do, and it's so embarrassing now when I think of my husband. He heard the spiel when I,
Yeah.
the first time we, la. But I'd be like, okay, not to freak you out or not to kill the moment, but I had breast cancer. I had to have a mastectomy. I don't have a nipple, but I got a little smirk there. It's totally fine. You can touch it. It's not weird. And they'd be like,
You're like, just 30-second elevator pitch as to what you're about to feel. And it's
And-
down.
Steering for
Yeah.
the moment
no,
scene,
no, really.
Wow.
And
My-
but I mean, that's the part that
Yeah,
I was
you're like, damn it.
expecting immediately them to be like, oh, what is, it was so fascinating.
Oh, guys don't give a shit.
Oh
They're
no,
like,
they were like, okay,
cool.
that's freaking cool. Whoa, like they were, it was so something that they never see.
Yeah.
not a lot
They're-
of guys, Jaime.
No, of course not.
No,
just-
Jaime is really the that's who we're talking about.
But it was more my mind thought they were going to reject me or they were going to be
Right.
uncomfortable with it.
Like you were less
And
than.
they couldn't have cared less. They were
Wow.
like, hey, that's kind of cool. You all right now? Yeah. All right, you on? Okay. Literally, it sounded very just nonchalant, but they really were.
But
Well,
so-
very
I feel like that
nonchalant.
would help you like boost your confidence,
Oh, for sure.
quickly.
Well, and I had wanted to do get a tattoo of a nipple. So Vinny's tattoo used to do a thing. He would go around and like give tattoos, 3D looking tattoos.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and he did it in his honor of his sister who had breast cancer.
Yeah.
But he was on the East Coast, and I was like, I'm gonna commit. I'm gonna invest. It's for my life. And then when I realized nobody cared, and I was totally fine with it, I'm like, I don't need it.
And it's not like you're walking around every day with your boobs out for
Exactly.
85 new people to see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now I'm kind of glad I didn't, because every time I see like my scar, 'cause it's a pretty big scar, every time I say it, I'm like, I did all right.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Well, that's like you with your bag too,
Yep.
being so nervous, after her divorce. Like, what am I going to tell the first person who sees
Yeah.
this or
Yeah.
whatever? And I was like,
Because I felt like I felt lucky in a way having the ileostomy surgery while I was married. Because I'm like, oh, thank God I don't have to go through dating and have to explain what it is and stuff. And then after we got divorced, I was like, oh my God, like now I have to tell people or whatever.
I have
And
a poop bag.
and the first person that I was with, he is like, cool, I don't care. Like you didn't even really notice that it was there as much as like what you'd think that it would
And it's
be.
covered,
Yeah.
and so like and people are like, you don't see poop, right? And you're like, no.
Like, cool,
Cool,
game
okay.
on. So
Yeah.
it's so funny that as women, we think that it's going to be such a big deal, like what our
We're
appearance
less
is
than,
like.
yeah.
Yeah, if anything is wrong or deviate.
When girls are like, oh, I'm so fat right now. No man would want to do it, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, God, literally 1% of men care what the naked body looks like when they're getting in front of them.
Yeah.
Like,
Is there a hole? Great.
yeah. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, when I was my fattest after the kids, or else you would see my shoulder like this and, whoa, babe, hot. You want to go? And I'm like, what is wrong with you? Like, oh, and he's like, bring it this way. Like, I'm like, guys don't care, ladies.
know.
They only
Yeah.
think with this. And if that hole is the same as it looks like they think it's going to look, then
Yep.
you're good.
But there's something empowering about it though too, like
Yeah.
getting out of your own head. And I mean, we do that a lot, right? Just
yeah, absolutely.
generally speaking. But like, there was something about like, okay, this is all me. This is all happening in here. I should be proud of everything that I've gone through, and everything
Yeah.
with your surgeries and things. Like, I have nothing to be ashamed of. I have
I know.
no control over what happened, and you know what? If you're not mature enough to deal with it, then I don't want to be with you anyways.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised about how mature these men were. I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
That's great.
One man, just my husband. of
Yeah,
course, but-
just one.
So, what advice would you give to somebody who's maybe just found out they have this cancer diagnosis, or no matter what stage it's in, or they're in the middle of going through chemotherapy? Like, we have a friend, different kind of cancer from high school,
Oh yeah.
that is going through colon cancer treatment right now at our age. And it's like, we're not supposed to have this. Like, so no matter what stage in life or age, whatever, what's your advice for somebody going through it right now? How do you keep
Ooh.
your mindset strong during it?
I'm not a religious person. Just gonna preface that. But you have to have some hope when you're going through it. One, hope that everything is going to turn out okay and that you're not alone in the universe experiencing this. Like there's a lot of other people who have either personally experienced it or have been affected by it in some capacity, a friend, a partner, whatever. Tap into your resources, whether it's your spiritual resources or I don't know, religious resources, your friends, family, to keep that hope alive because mindset directly correlates, in my opinion, to how you experience that treatment. It's very easy to get very dark and blue and just this, why is this happening to me? And it doesn't help, right? Like I'm a firm believer in like you can psych your mind into having more like positive energy
Mm-hmm.
into whatever it is, right?
And I'm
Whether
sure
you're
you have a down, dark day still
oh,
here or there,
100%.
obviously, but you can't let it eat you alive. You got to be like,
100%.
I'm going to let myself feel this and be sad for this day. Tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm going to wake up and have a different attitude.
100%. And I know I preface this by saying I'm not religious, but I will say a lot of people during that time were praying for me. I know that, and this is weird. Anybody who knows me who's listening to this, they're gonna be like, "Whoa, she's talking about prayer." So many people prayed that I genuinely believed that collective energy
Yeah.
to whoever they were praying to, or whatever they believed, really helped me
Yeah.
through my process.
Yeah.
So, asking for help, it can be help of, can you think of some positive vibes in my direction? Or can you say a prayer for me? Or can you come sit with me at chemo? Can you come help me just have a day where I just need to cry?
Yeah.
All of that helped create a sense of hope that made the process that much easier and tolerable.
Mhm.
And I use the word easy loosely here, but it made it much more like you could handle it
Yeah.
Yeah. The
along
people
the
behind
way.
you.
And I can't imagine having done it without finally accepting like, all right, you can't do this alone.
Yeah.
So get your act together because
Yeah.
you're going to need some support, whatever it looks like.
For someone that is going through cancer, what can their friends or family give them as like a gift or
Mhm.
do for them? Or like, what do you feel like is helpful during that time?
The food is helpful. But full disclosure, you're not hungry. And when you have to eat out of necessity, not because you want to. So definitely preparing food is helpful, but just be patient with them that they might not eat it right away.
Freezer meals then.
Exactly. Spend time with them.
Okay. Yeah.
It feels very lonely when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you've got people there with you, you feel lonely. So even if it's just quality time, I don't even want to talk right now, but can you just watch this movie with me? Sit in the backyard in the sunset with me. Just that knowing that somebody's there
Mm-hmm.
is really helpful. This is one that is underrated. Get somebody to help clean.
I was just wondering about like a cleaning
The
service.
cleaning is so like pay for somebody to come in once a week. If that person
that's
doesn't want
brilliant.
company, I'm telling you, I didn't know how much I needed that. But just having people come and be like, "Hey, do you mind if I tidy up for you?" I'm like, that would be wonderful.
Yeah, because you don't have the energy
You have
to do
no
it.
energy. And even if it's you just pay for them to have somebody come and do it or you come and do it themselves, the cleaning is key.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
because that helps your space feel better and lighter and happy, positive, like you were saying before. So that can help your healing too.
Yeah, and then you can focus on like the fun stuff, and I say fun, like the normalcy of
Yeah.
putting on makeup and
Yeah.
going through your routine
Having
so
the
that
energy for the things you want.
and feeling you have some control over that.
Yeah.
I feel like that surprised me when you said, not surprised me, but how you said to go to chemo with your friends took
Mhm.
off work to go to chemo with you and stuff. I feel like I'm like you in the mindset of like, no, don't do that for me. I don't need you to do that or whatever.
Yeah,
But
I'd feel the same.
how I'm like, oh, so you do want somebody there because
Yeah.
I've heard like, oh, you feel so sick, you whatever. I'm like,
Yeah.
and it's like 3 hours. In my head, I would be like, no, I don't need you to take off.
Right.
Like, but like you said, just come sit.
Yeah. And half the time you're asleep.
Yeah.
And because they give you Benadryl and things like that too, so your body doesn't like react to
Yeah.
it. And you're in and out the whole time, and you're in a chair with a whole bunch of other people who are going the treatment right next to you.
Oh.
And so you can build community there, but just having someone who you know is going to drive you home and there just it's
If you need
it's
something, they can
nice.
get it for you.
And just to remind you you're not by yourself.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. And it's boring
Yeah.
for the
Yeah.
person. So have them bring some crossword puzzles or something.
Have a movie on like iPad or something.
Yeah, yeah. But just the presence it speaks volumes.
My final question for you for this is, do you live life differently now?
Oh,
Do you live every day like it's your last? Do you take more risks? Do you not sweat the small stuff? Do you feel you should do better at that? How are you living today?
so I would love to say that I've completely transformed my mindset and I'm very much the way I was,
Mhm.
but with a caveat. So the first couple years of treatment, totally in the moment.
Mhm.
Like there was nothing I wouldn't do. Now I've kind of fallen back into old habits and I occasionally have to remind myself, you literally have a second chance here at living your life the way you want to live it. So I am a little more daring for some things,
Mhm.
still very much in my ways for others. It's a lifelong process. There's no easy button here.
Mhm.
I would love to one day say, I'm living in the moment now. I'm a Virgo. It's not happening.
Do you think you don't sweat the small stuff as much?
I deprioritize some of that stuff now. Whereas before it was, and I don't even know if it's due to age.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I feel like
Yeah.
as we get older, you
Yeah.
care less about
Well, like you said with
dumb things.
our setup today.
Mhm.
So just so you all know, I didn't even need complaints from you guys. I complained in my own head enough that I decided this week, F it, I'm going to order us $90 microphones each. And I bought 3 because I knew Angelica was coming here. And you see this one? This one? Because one of our other cords was bad or somehow didn't connect right. So now I have to order 3 new cords. And in our little sound bar, we only had room for 2 mics, not 3. And I didn't have a splitter. And it took us an hour and a half to set this shit up
Yeah.
and get this. And finally, we said, you know what? Sure is picking up enough. Let's just do this so we can film. So Angelica gets home before midnight and we can get home to cook dinner for our kids. And I told them, I was like, oh, well, that's annoying. And Angelica's like, this Hannah compared to Hannah of 5 years ago, you are so much more patient, the Hannah that has children now. Like, and she goes, I think you would have lost your shit before. And now you still have a half smile on your face. I was like, yeah, good. I'm glad to hear it. Because I'm not sweating the small stuff.
Yeah,
As
and
much.
you shouldn't.
She says, I twitch. I'm not. So yeah, so next time you see us, whatever, we'll have great sounding mics. But look how great this mic is. 1 mic for 3
I know.
people.
Yeah. This might be the thing. Just return the other 2.
Screw it.
We don't need headphones. We don't
180 saved.
It all goes back.
Well, thank you so much
Thanks for having me.
driving down and spending a night with me and my crazy kids. Angelica is
Crazy kids.
overstimulated. And
I'll be drinking a lot of wine tonight. Not box wine, but wine.
one of the last times she came, she left and she goes, I never understood when moms talked about being overstimulated. Now that I've spent a weekend at your home, I get it. And I said, enjoy your silent car ride home and your silent home this week. You will be like, wow, it's so nice. But yes, thank you so much for coming and joining and being on.
From our chaos to yours.
Remember, you're doing better than you think you are, and you're probably funnier too. Bye-bye.
Bye.